Now it's time for the no vig value of the week. This is my best bet of the week. And for that, as always, we're going to turn to the odds jam odds screen and check out the best line. We are going with Aaron Jones, longest rush over 12.5 yards. Right now, you can find it at a variety of books for close prices, but the best price in the market, as you can see here, is no vig, 12.5 over minus 104. We're rolling with Aaron Jones, longest rush over 12.5 yards. So what do I like about this one? Well, first of all, Aaron Jones came back and has been very productive for the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, he had an injury. Last 2 weeks, he's been a little bit more of the workhorse. We'll talk about that in a second. For the last 2 weeks, he's had runs of 31 yards and 17 yards in each of the last two games in terms of going over this number. So he has cleared it in the last two games that he has played. The other thing that I like about this game is the situation that they're running into here, no pun intended, with the Chicago Bears run defense. While this run defense has been a little bit better of late, they still are struggling and allowing some long runs to some run offenses that really are not all that productive. Tyrone Tracy Jr. had a run of 16 yards just last week and totaled 71. Chase Brown totaled only 37 yards, but still had a run of 12 yards in the game the Cincinnati Bengals played. And the Cincinnati Bengals run offense is terrible. Their offensive line is terrible as well. The Baltimore Ravens, they had multiple running backs hit runs of 10 plus yards. Keaton Mitchell, he had a 25-yard run against this team. Some of the games before that, I'm not that impressed that the run defense of the Bears looks a little bit better because you have the Saints and the Commanders rushing offenses. They're just not very explosive or productive. So I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to be in a good spot here. They're a home favorite. Total has risen. I think we're going to get a good positive game script here for Aaron Jones to have some success on the ground. The last little nugget that I'll throw in here is that the Chicago Bears rank dead last by a mile in EPA allowed versus power run concepts. The Minnesota Vikings don't dial up a lot of power very frequently. However, when they played the Detroit Lions just 2 weeks ago, they saw probably that the Lions ranked 28th defending power runs. And so they ran Aaron Jones 2 different times using power run concepts against that bad Detroit Lions defense versus power. And those runs gained 31 yards and 14 yards, both exceeding this number of 12.5. As I just mentioned, the Chicago Bears ranked dead last in power run concepts. I think that we're going to see the potential for the Minnesota Vikings, pretty forward-thinking, smart coaching staff, to see that, to dial up a couple of power runs here for Aaron Jones to have some success against the Chicago Bears run defense. And so for that reason, and the last little factor here is he's taken over the backfield a little bit more. He was out due to the injury. To start the year is more of a split between he and Jordan Mason. And if you might look at some of the most recent numbers of the last two games, you might think that the split is closer than it really is. What you should really do is look at the first half of those games. In the first half of the game in week 9, Aaron Jones had 7 of the 9 runs. Jordan Mason only had 2. In the first half of the game last week against the Baltimore Ravens, where he still exceeded this number of 12.5 for his longest run, he had 7 runs in the first half. Jordan Mason only had 1. And then the team had to abandon the run more or less because they were down so big in the second half on the scoreboard. So I don't think they're going to be down big. I don't think they're going to need to abandon the run. And now this backfield has shifted more towards Aaron Jones. And I don't think the marketplace has really taken that into consideration yet, the way that they've lined these games and the way that they've lined these longest rushing yardages. So let's take advantage of that for one more week here, hopefully, and get Aaron Jones at a 12.5. If he exceeds this, I don't see next week them lining this at 12.5 again. So let's see if we can go 10-1 on the season with our best bet of the week. And as a reminder, click the link below and you can sign up for Novig and you can get a $100 match on your first deposit when you sign up over at Novig. So make sure you take advantage of that. And let's try to go to 10-1 this year, 32-10 in the 2 years that I've been sharing these each week.